Hey, welcome Four States Conference. We are here in Frontenac High School, and we are going to be talking about photography and video during the pandemic. My name is Eric Goody. Again, I teach here at Frontenac High School. I teach the 7 through 12 technology program. We do a variety of different things between all the way from pre-engineering to video to graphics to running a screen printing business with our upper level class. So a wide variety of what we do here at school under my leadership. Today I'm going to talk about how students weathered the storm this past March through the summer and what I've gained during the process. What I've learned by teaching during this time, if you think back to past March, we were all working on group projects. We had things going on. We had kids in video class. I had kids in the communication tech class, which does the photography. They all had school equipment. We had like Canon DSLRs. We had a lot of things going on, but one thing I noticed, we were using all of the school's equipment. So when someone wanted to shoot a video or do some photography, they borrowed our equipment, went outside and shot the shots they needed to shoot. And I realized that when March came on and we were shut down, we were relying on a ton of what the school had to offer. From using the equipment and the kids having all the opportunities here at school, I noticed that during this pandemic, we were forced to use what the kids had. Since they were forced to kind of use what they had, the first question was, how many of you guys had phones that you were able to use for video or photography? That was the first question. And to be completely honest, all 100% of my students had the capabilities to a cell phone of some sort. And so that was the biggest learning point that I learned this past several months is kids have the technology they need. And with today's cell phones, they're getting better and better. Video is looking better. Photography is just as good. There's a lot of things you can do with the phone. And the nice thing is you always have a phone with you. As people, we don't carry around video equipment. We don't carry around tripods, and we don't carry around items for video photography, but we all carry a cell phone. So with that knowledge, I was able to construct a modified class that the kids are able to continue doing exactly what we do here in class, just using your cell phone, and modified the assignments a little, and because there's a learning curve, because kids never use their phone for this stuff properly, and so we had to teach the just basics again, but we were able to accomplish a lot more. I believe a lot more while we were at home than it was if we were in the classroom. Photography in my class is not a full-blown photography class. It is actually just a section of my communication tech class. We do a lot of graphic things in this class, so when we get to the photography unit, it typically is about 6 weeks long. One of the first things that I like to teach is the exposure triangle. I think once the kids understand the exposure triangle, the ISO, the aperture, the shutter, all these things. Once they understand these, I believe they are able to go out and use whatever device they have. So, but by teaching these, then getting into the using your mobile phone, starts making sense to them. And once it clicks, these kids take off. Kind of go over what we teach for photography. I talked about the exposure triangle. It all begins here. This is roughly a 6-week project that the kids go over. So again, we go over the history of photography. The first thing I also get into is teaching how to use their mobile phones and how that works. And I teach them how to use Lightroom, and Instagram is a well, I don't teach Instagram. I let them know that Instagram is out there. So there are other methods um, using different filters and getting a good photo. I teach them how to use their cell phone. Again, they can use their cell phone um, editing program built in, so they don't have to just use Lightroom or any of those, but they do have computers. So I teach them how to use Photoshop and Lightroom on the computer as well. So Photoshop is there for some different manipulations and um, different projects we work with. So, but during this, I have a small list right here of shots that the kids had to do. And this is before the pandemic, before we used cell phones. They used the camera that we had here in class. We have several cameras here that they all passed around and went and tried to take shots. If you notice, it's not a long list. There's just different things they go out and shoot and bring back. And then we did some editing. Since then, I've added a lot. Since the capabilities of using their phone, I've added weekly challenges. And the first week was isolation. Second week was contrast. Third week was the color red. And this fourth week was the new normal. I can go in and I downloaded these, and the kids are able, they turn them in. I just want to show you, this is isolation. So the kids are out in their own element and they take pictures of isolation. This one wasn't laid out right, but if you look at it, it's the Fiscus station on the highway that's no longer used. You can tell it's isolated. The cool thing would have been is, and I let her know, you can desaturate these. You could make it black and white if you wanted to bring out the emphasis in isolation. And we have another one, which I thought was funny in a sense. He saturated it, excuse me, and have a guy out there, and again, he's got his mask on, and so it feels like he's isolated himself from everyone. So these are just some examples of what the kids come up with. It's kind of fun to watch them turn things in. Now, since then, I put together a list of what kids can do. And again, they have to, this is kind of a choice board. It's kind of what is popular at the time of pandemic. And the nice thing is it worked really well. There's 40 opportunities, 40 choices that they choose from, and they're going to create 30 photos. So from this list, they can choose 30 of these and turn these in. So it's kind of a nice little list that they go and they can feel free to shoot it in class. They can shoot it at home. The opportunity is everywhere when you have the phone. They can hopefully have this list on their mind when they leave. And if they come across a nice sun flare outside and they're like, man, that looks so cool, let's take a picture of it. So it gets kids to think of school even when they're not at school. And it gives them a sense of pride that they can go where they want, make an amazing photo, and turn it in. Whereas before we did not use the phones, they were stuck in the classroom and they had to think, okay, how am I going to get a good photo with brick walls? And that's the hardest thing, to be in school and get to do that. So yes, we're going to go ahead and leave it at that. If there's anything you want to see, I know we got a rubric here that I use for grading. If you want to have a copy of all this stuff, feel free to shoot an email. I'll leave it at the end. But shoot me an email and I will feel free to share anything you would like. Okay, guys, we're going to use Lightroom, and I just want to let you know that Lightroom is a free service on the App Store or Google Play. You just download Lightroom, and it is a free version. Now, there are some things on the free version you cannot use, but for the most part, it's an excellent app to work with. So go ahead and get it downloaded, and we'll go ahead and do a quick tutorial on it. But I would always recommend using Lightroom if you're going to go do some high-end photography, or if you want to do some photography. The nice thing is it's going to allow you to create some different images, and if you notice at the very top it has HDR, DNG. It's going to keep some of the things that we're using. It's going to keep all the data behind it. So jump right in the very bottom right hand corner. There's a little camera button. I'm going to go ahead and click on it, and it gives me the option right here on the bottom left, automatic, professional, and if it's the free version, I believe it's the top 3. So I'm going to go to high dynamic range because I like shooting with the dynamic range already there. I'm going to go ahead and take a picture, and just a simple little picture here. Now I can click and hold. If I click and hold on it, it's going to show me where my focal point is, and I should be able to go through and change that by just where I want to click. If I wanted to focus elsewhere, like I want to focus on this tip, I'm going to go ahead and click that, even though if I really wanted to do this, I'd focus somewhere back there. Go ahead and hit my photo button. It said hold still, and it created a nice little image. Now my subject it is what it is, but if I take that, I can go through, and now in the top left, it should be up there as it processes at the very top. So now it has done some of the editing for me. Since I did choose the HDR, it's already went through and did my lighting, some coloring. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on light and see what it did. Normally I would bring down the highlights, because typically highlights is what's blown out, and we pull up the shadows, and then we pull down some of the blacks. So that's what I would have done normally. So the high dynamic range saves me a little bit of time. The cool part is you can come in and adjust the curves. There are some different things you can do with curves, so if you never used them, I'd recommend getting there and kind of playing with them. It's kind of neat what you can come up with. Obviously you can do extreme, you can see what's happening. It's kind of blowing it out a little bit, but I'm just going to pull up my shadows a little bit, hit done, and kind of leave it as that. Now there's all kinds of little things you can do. You can click on presets and see what they do. Just kind of jump through them all, and you get a feel for your photography. It's kind of a neat way to start. If you like some of these, you can actually click on them, hit the button, and what it did is it created some different shifts for you. Did some effects for me. Maybe I want to come in here with I want to sharpen some of this. All these are in the free version. Now on the far left, the selective and the healing brush is not there, but for the most part, all this other stuff is there, and it's free for you to use. Again, I highly recommend using this, but I'm gonna go ahead and share it. Let's say I'm done. I'm gonna send this to my computer. I hit the little share button at the very top, and then I can do anything that I want. Typically, I'd save it to my camera roll and then airdrop it to my computer so I can work on it. But kids at home could share this to their friends. They could share to their favorite social media. It's a pretty nice little tool to use. again, go back to here. The nice thing is there is so much you can do with Lightroom. And the best way to learn how to use it is hit the Learn button at the bottom, and you can go through some of these tutorials and actually learn from these guys. If you hit View All, you can see everything they put up, or just go online and see what people have done. Click on YouTube and type in Lightroom for beginners or Lightroom for photographers, amateur. You can pick, just search whatever you want, and you're going to find a good source for that. But I would recommend to have the students at school download Lightroom the first few days of school, and if they never ever use it, at least they have it for whenever they feel when they're bored and they can click on it. But I recommend them trying to get into it and use it because it is such a powerful tool for free that these kids are able to use. If you are an Adobe school, you can sign in with your enterprise ID and you have all the tools that you possibly need for photography. Okay, I want to go over using your phone to edit photos. You do not have to have any special tools doing this, so you can kind of, if you want to teach just using basic things on your phone. Kids can use their Android phones. They can use the Apple phone. Most of the time they're similar. So I'm gonna go ahead and touch base on just some of the editing tools using your phone. And again, teach this to the kids, and they can use what they like the best. So I got just a standard photo here. Up in the top right hand corner, I'm gonna hit edit, and with this I have some options. I have down at the bottom, there's a little list of things you can do. Again, if you want to click auto, you can see it does a few things. I like to change mine up. Like here's exposure. I might add a little bit of exposure. Brilliance, I like pulling the brilliance up. Highlights, look for the whites in your screen. I'm going to pull those down some. Shadows, I like to brighten those up. Again, you're just doing this to your eye. Now, some people are going to be different. They're going to want it. If you notice here, I went to black point 100%. That's pulling in a ton of contrast. So it's kind of, again, preference. Now, saturation, I don't do a lot of. If I'm going to do any, I'd like to do the vibrance of the colors that are in. I don't know if I need to warm this up any. I think it's good where it's at. I usually don't do much tinting. Now, you can go in and put some tints to it. That's not my style. I do like to bring some sharpness, some definition, noise reduction here just a tad bit. So this is a basic edit. Now if I click on it, well, I hit done when I'm finished, and then I should have made a copy of it so you can see the before and after, but there I have an edited photo in just using my phone. The pictures don't look bad. I can turn it again. I can turn it sideways and go through and do the edits from that. But just wanted you to see there is possibilities to use your phone without having some special program out there to edit photos. Our video productions class was going through the entire year using our school equipment, and we were forced to go home. And so we did the next best thing, which was we used our computers. Our computers at home, they had computers, but we also used their phone to shoot video. When we shot the video using the phones, the kids were kind of nervous to begin with, but once they started getting into it and started understanding that they could do anything they want, they were able to create a lot of cool projects. I just want to kind of go through some of the projects that I had them do at home. The first, I gave them a choice board. So the choice board consisted of a whole bunch of different types of videos, and all they had to do is create 3 of these during the last few months of school. And it kind of transferred into this year. We kind of do some of these same projects because I noticed kids were able to do it at home. It was exciting to be able to do something at that time. So I made them do, obviously, the famous one that's going on right now is TikTok. So that was one of them. That required very little editing skills. They could create a drawing of them drawing a physical drawing and create one of the how-to videos of how to draw a drawing. And one was teach me something new, so they had to go through the process of showing us how to do something. One kid showed us how to wire up a light switch. He was redoing it at home, so he went ahead and had the camera set up and was able to show us, and then did all the editing with his computer. A nice one that kids love to do was show us how to cook. So I called it Chef Boyardee. They went through and created a meal and had the different camera angles and showed us how a gourmet meal at their house would look like during the pandemic. There's a few others that kind of branched off of the vlog aspect, because in today's world, vlogging is very important. So there was vlogging your day of isolation, and that can stem to all kinds of things today. So they were able to go around their house vlogging how the course were, or how their life was at that time. Then I chose one that was, there's one that was very simple that didn't really relate to videoing except for video and your response, but go out and watch a movie that pertains to bullying. There's a great movie called, most of us has probably seen it, but Wander. Had a little boy in it that got picked on, and how it changed the way he reacted in school and overcame those obstacles. And they were able to do a vlog on the response of how they felt about it. And then one of my favorites we had a guy do is the late night TV show. They had to create their own setup at home and create like a TV host, late night TV host. And so there's a lot of different things you can do that the kids can do at home or around the room, around the school, just using your cell phone. So those are some of the projects that I did during the pandemic. All right, guys, I want to show Adobe Premiere Rush. Adobe Premiere Rush, again, is a free service. It doesn't cost anything. I do believe there are options as far as there are the paid version that you get a little bit more things to the free version. So I'm going to show you what the paid version looks like, just because I don't know what the free, what you cannot have with the versions. So what I would do is when you open up Premiere Rush, obviously it has the list of things that you've done. I'm just going to show you one that's kind of fun. I'll hit play. Simple, quick video that I did. And just me walking through the house using Premiere Rush. I'm not sure if you can hear this.
Not sure if you can, but we'll go from there. Hopefully you can saw. That was my daughter. But we're going to go ahead and open a new one. When you get down here and hit the plus button, so say add media or take video. This is if you shot it in your camera already, which some kids will probably do that because that's what naturally they do. Or you can use this as a camera if you hit take video. Here's the cool thing, is we have the option to put our grids on, left side. We have we can take this little, basically it's monitoring your white. See if I go here, you can see it kind of the auto exposure. If I do that, like so. And this one is, if you look here, I'm gonna go ahead and try to focus on this. I hit this, it's focusing on what's close. Get some light on it so you can see how it's focused on that wood grain right there. I could also come back here and say I want to focus only on that outside stuff. So you got focus, the focal region, autofocus. I can turn that off and just go around and put in focus only on the subject. Okay, so I can choose those things, which is kind of nice. I can go through and click on what I want to focus on, and then I can lock it in place and say that's what's focused. Okay, here's my monitoring system is that. Now, on the left side, you also have where you can turn the flashlight on, which I don't recommend. You can change your lens according to what you have. That's my 0.5, which is the wide angle, and there's the regular lens. You can flip it. You can see I'm here, but obviously you don't have much light. I'd have to go in and change some exposure. See, I'm gonna turn that back because this is more pleasing to look at. All right, so again, you can shoot your video through Premiere Pro, and by just clicking on the button, hitting record, you can take pictures with it and add it in. But this is how you can shoot using Premiere Pro. Let's just say we have that. Maybe that's, you got a couple clips. We can do all kinds of things. Let's see if we can get that good old sun coming in. And again, you can change the way it's being focused on by going up to there, or I'm coming down. It's focused on the ground. So obviously you don't want to be changing too much of that mid show, but we'll go ahead and stop there. So we got our 2 clips. Let's just say we're done. Obviously we'd want more than that to do some type of video, but you hit the plus down the corner, the check mark. It's going to open these up into your clip. Now we got audio on it, we got video. Obviously you got your 2 clips here, and hit play. You can watch and listen and so on. So the nice thing is this is pretty close to real graphics or real video editing. On the bottom left, you can come in and say, I need to add media. I want to capture media. So let's say you missed a clip. You can use this to hit capture. I can add graphics like the text and the titles. I can add voiceover, or I can add the audio right there, just with this little plus sign in the bottom left corner. Right next to it, we got some other features. I'm gonna go ahead and close that, but it's showing you your sequences, which is basically your timeline, and then you have, you've got your movie clips that you already had. So that's your project panel. The second button right here, it shows your, again, we got video and we got audio below, okay? And then right here, we can change the ratio of what we're looking at. I'm gonna keep it 16:9, excuse me. So over here, the nice thing is we can go up here, we can go and look at the color. I mean, you got all kinds of little filters. Down below, it's got all these little presets, so I can hit contrast. I can add through, similar to what we did earlier with the video, or with the photography. I can come through and change a few things. So You can do all this at your fingertips, which is super cool. Okay, go in there. I like that look. Let's go here and let's see what this backside. I start clicking some of these presets. There's my black and white. I've got that. Too dark. Ooh, I like that. Nah, I kind of like these up here, but I am losing some things. So there's good old film. It looks a little aged. I can come in here and brighten some things up. Let's do exposure a little bit. So, but anyways, you see the point. I'm not going to go through and show you how to do it all, but you can click these little color buttons. Then down below you also have some effects. These are your transitions, which all kids love transitions. It's kind of hard. You got to teach them not to use transitions on everything, especially if you're doing cut to cut. All right, so one of the cool things I've noticed is our speed. We teach a lot of kids how to use speed ramp. Speed ramping creates a cool effect. Now, you're not going to see anything on these videos when speed ramp, but if you know anything about speed ramping, you kind of know what's happening with it, but it slows and speeds up. Again, you're not going to see anything on this because there's no real movement. Click at the bottom, if you notice, it says speed range 100%. In between those two marks, I can make it go faster. So I'm going to go here, and then when it hits that mark, it's going to go up 200%. You'll see it move. Again, nothing happened, so you didn't really see much. So I'm going to go ahead and crank it 600%. Now you'll see it go through real quick. Okay, that's a speed ramp. That's what speed ramp's done and how it works. So you can turn it on, you can turn it off. This is the whole thing. You can speed the whole clip up. You can go the ramp. I like using speed ramps. Speed ramps are really cool. It gets faster. You'll see it speed up a little bit. I didn't ramp it very much, but so if you didn't know anything about speed ramps, there you go. They're really neat to play with. But so this is Premiere Pro. You can go in and add some voiceover. So if I come over here, I want to add some audio. We'll come in here and say voiceover. Hey everyone, this is my backyard. I'm recording it just for a workshop that I'm working on. I'm wondering, now that I'm doing this, it is not recording because I'm actually using the microphone for a screen record, so I don't think you can record a screen record. That's why my audio wasn't working. So anyways, you get the idea. After that, you can always share it. You can export it. You can go through the setups. You can go through and match it 30 frames a second. You can do whatever you may need and hit export. You can export it straight to your phone. You can export it to I'm gonna hit cancel. Export it to any of these social media platforms. They can send it to you from there, from if you just export it straight to your phone. So this is what I would do if I only had cell phones and I could not use any software on the computer.
In this video, we will show you how to make a Taekwondo kickstand. Here are all the materials you will need for this project. We start by making a 30-inch by 30-inch stand for the kickstand. We cut all the pieces to size and then glue them together using PVC pipe glue. Next, we will build the arms that swing around for you to kick. Start by cutting the arms to any length you want. We did them between 1 and 2 feet long. After you finish cutting the arms, measure your pool noodle to make sure it's roughly the same length as the PVC pipe. You can now put the rest of it together by sliding the 1-inch PVC pipe into the T-piece, sliding the T-piece onto the 1 1/4 piece, and putting it in the middle of the stand. In the end, you should have something that looks like this. For extra stability, we put a sandbag on the base so that while you're kicking it, it does not tip over.
Thank you guys for joining my presentation. I hope you got something out of it. Feel free to contact me if you have any questions.